Hi! So today I thought I would do a information video on depression. So depression is a lot more commonly spoke about. Before, it can be used in jest, where like, oh, you're just depressed, just get over it, and a lot of words that can be so hurtful to the people that are suffering through that. And I feel it's becoming more serious now. It's becoming more of a topic to discuss, and people are either feeling like they're suffering it more now, or they're just talking about it more. I imagine it's a bit of both, to be honest, because life is getting a lot more manic. So what can cause it? There isn't, I don't think, a specific cause for it. Doctors and psychologists and all that kind of say it's a brain change. So there's a chemical change that's happening, but it hasn't been yet found out what can cause it or what's happening. No, what can cause it, sorry, hasn't been found. But it tends to be different life events. So if you've just lost your job, or you're having, relationship problems, or something just majorly changing in your life, and you haven't had to cope with that before, so you don't know how to cope with it. And it's so signs of depression. So I'll just read through the list. So there's different ones. So being self-critical, and obviously this can go under something else of self-esteem and confidence. So it's supposed to be you figuring out how many of these signs am I feeling, showing, thinking, and seeing at what point think, okay, maybe I am suffering a little bit from this. Do I need some help? So self-critical, having no energy, having no sexual desire, having trouble sleeping, with that maybe having nightmares. You can't concentrate when you're doing something, you just kind of phase off, or just don't really want to do it in the first place. Being withdrawn into yourself, which I think is the biggest kind of telltale to your friends and families, that you kind of don't really want to be out and about anymore. You're not making contact, being irritable, because I imagine it's quite annoying to kind of be this different person and not be in control, because this is a feeling that overcomes you can't control. And especially people around you don't understand, and either just don't understand generally, or they make fun of you, or they just minimize it. It must be so frustrating to feel that way and not be heard if you're in that situation. And sadness, which is a lot of the time what it kind of gets put down to, is you're just really sad. So ways that they do say to help is basically, I suppose, there's cognitive retraining, so like changing your thinking, looking at different patterns that you're thinking and changing it before it happens or while it's happening and working through that. There's also, if it's with something that's happened in your life, maybe discussing that thing. So for example, if you've lost a family member, you've lost someone close to you, and then you've suddenly seen that you've started to feel worse, maybe talking about that will eliminate the depression from that side, rather than aiming for the depression itself, if that makes sense. So rather than working through, I feel depressed, but talking about, I feel upset because I've lost them, and talking through that maybe could help you come out of that feeling. The biggest, I suppose, sadly, I would say, is medication. So antidepressives. I haven't been depressed. I don't know that feeling. I've seen people depressed, and I know people that have been on antidepressants, and I can see that it helps. I suppose tablets is a scary thing, and I've spoke to people, and it's scary to be on tablets for weeks, months, the fear of years, and knowing that you have to rely on that. So it's because you don't really want to be in any medication. I don't think anyone does. It helps completely. I know why people do it. It helps the symptoms, and it helps the pain and the upset and the feelings, but try to focus on the feelings and work through the feelings to get past the point of you feeling that way, and you wouldn't need them, if that makes sense. I hope that doesn't sound judgmental, I don't know. So how to help someone if they've said, or you have an inkling that they are feeling depressed. Just be there completely. Just don't. So for example, we'll speak of a friend. So, my friend's withdrawn into herself. Well, try pop round and see her a bit more. They're feeling scared and negative and don't know what to do, don't know what to feel this complete sadness and not happy with themselves. So be there for them and feel that they're got that support around them. Not talking in a way that is such, thinking it's helpful when it's not. So saying, oh, you'll be over it in a week, it's okay, or you know, it's just sadness, it'll pass. This person hasn't chose to feel like this. I imagine doesn't want to feel like this, but can't get out of that. You need to be that support, being there and not trying to alter the situation, but just being there and understanding and knowing that it's not on purpose and it's not to hurt anyone, it's not to hurt themselves, it's not a choice, but just knowing that and being there. I think one thing also that you hear quite a lot is, I've seen them and they're not sad, or I've seen them and they're smiling, I've seen them and they're laughing. So one thing to bear in mind is depression doesn't mean you're always feeling depressed. It means you can go up, whether it's for a minute, for a second, for an hour, for a day, and you can come back down to that feeling. It's always coming back to that feeling and still that knowing that you can't get out of that. So if you see your friend being happy, thrive off that, be in that moment and support them through that time, because that happiness doesn't always last, which is the really hard thing. But just because you see your friend that you know has depression smiling, don't think, oh, they're lying or it's not real, because it's still 100% real. So some tips, maybe things to try if you're not yet ready for counselling but want to look more about how to handle how you're feeling. So I have recently ordered this book, which is a self-help book. So this is a Overcoming Depression. It is a big book, so I would recommend that. I got that off Amazon. I think I want to say less than £10. If you're feeling this pain and this upset, let people around you that you trust know, because some people are, you know, blind to feelings and thoughts, and they don't know what's going around in your mind. So there's some people that will know and see and come to you, but some people won't. So again, it's about saying, I need a little bit of help, please just, you know, come to me and give me that support. So I suppose it is a two-way street, and that's really hard. It's not easy in the moment, definitely not. Okay, so I hope that video's helped, and I will see you next week. Bye.